What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. So today I'll be giving you the brightness of the Samsung S95B. We're going to start off with a 1% window. And for a 1% window, we're looking at 1066. And it's just 1069. And it's holding incredibly well, by the way. Now, at one point, my numbers got as high up as 1500 nits, which is just fucking ridiculous. That was just the craziest thing. But it is holding 1068, if you would believe, on HDR right now. Very well. So anyone claiming that it can barely hold 1000 nits is totally full of shit. It's now up to 1200 nits, 1300 nits, 1500 nits, 1575 right now. The longer you let it sit, now the algorithm is doing its processing, and now it's falling back down to 1064, but you saw it right there. This thing goes up to 1500 nits on the brightness fluctuations. Sometimes the brightness just fluctuates and it gets ridiculously bright. And you're seeing it in real time. Now let's go to a 2% window. On a 2% window, our peak so far is 1071. Now it's dropping off to 1068, 1065, 1066. You see what I mean? It's holding this 1000 nit range exceptionally well without any real issue at all. And this is major news, folks, because OLEDs typically struggle a great deal to maintain this level of just wow, you know? And this OLED isn't having any problems breaking past even into the 1500 nit territory, 1580, 1501, 1360, and then it falls back down. It's almost like throughout a highlight sitting on the screen for a short period of time, or actually a long period of time, if it's a bright highlight, it's almost like this TV purposely temporarily raises the peak brightness up really ridiculously high up into the 1500 nit range to give you a shock and awe, and then quickly lowers it down almost as if to reduce the risk of burn-in for reaching that explosive level of peak brightness. If these numbers are what they're looking like, that's what it's doing. But it's holding well over 1000 nits very easily. So now, let's then go to a 5% window. For a 5% window, our peak right now, 998, 1088. All right, so now we're at 1084, 82, 1079. It's starting to fall back in line, but goes back up and down on the variable level. And you see that behavior we were talking about, where now it's slowly starting to ramp up. This time on this particular window, not quite as high as 1500, but now it's holding 1450, 1456 really well. And I love real-time tests like this because you can see nobody's touching the colorimeter. We're at 1450, 1447, and it's actually holding this really damn well. And as I look at this highlight with my naked eye, it's extremely bright. So this TV is absolutely hitting that. And now I just saw a little slight dimming there, so I expect the numbers to fall now. As we're seeing on the chart, we are seeing the numbers now go down a little bit. So some ABL is starting to kick in just a little bit, but not by much. And again, this is just incredible stuff that you're seeing. 1400 plus nits on this freaking OLED. Jesus Christ. Well, 1500 as a peak. And of course, it falls off over time as you're seeing. But on a 5% window, this thing does not mess around with anybody. It's almost daring you to say that any other OLED can get brighter. This is miraculous stuff, and I'm truly having fun with this right now. Okay, so now then, let's go to the next level of brightness, because now we're sitting at the 1300 nit range, and it's going to gradually fall off because of ABL. So now we're going to go to the 10% window of brightness. Okay, so at a 10% window of brightness, our peak is going to be 861, 1062. That's where we are. So 1062, and now it's hovering between the 1050s. It's falling down now. But as you guys can clearly see, at all points of this, well over 1000 with peaks into the 1500 nit range. And again, I can't make these numbers fake. This is what it is. This is real time, and you guys are seeing it. Now, one thing I have to point out that I love about this TV is it has these brightness fluctuations where, again, random points and the lower registry, like the 1% and the 2% windows of peak brightness, it randomly just ramps up to give you a shock and awe and then goes back down to prevent itself from damaging. I think that's really, really cool. Okay, so now we're at 1022. Let's move on to a 25% window. And now we're gonna let it ramp up, get its peak. For a 25% window, we're at 620. That's our peak so far. Now it's gonna fall down from 620. So of course, when you cover more of the screen in brightness, it's not gonna be as wow as it was before, but as you are clearly seeing, it ain't bad either. And again, at this level, it's just hitting exceptionally hard, and it is a sight for sore eyes. So now we're at 608, 607, and it's gonna, again, keep falling, but the fact that it's maintaining this 600 nit range on a 25% window, I think is a massive win. This is absolutely LED territory and far beyond what we've ever seen from OLED before. So now then, let's go to a 25% window. And we're sitting here at a peak of 363 now, normal OLED territory. So we can't expect a whole lot here. Again, ABL has kicked on officially at this point, so you're gonna expect to be in the 300s. As we can clearly see, we're at 358, and this is gonna be pretty much where it's going to sit. And this also does prove that there is nothing wrong with my colorimeter, spectrophotometer, none of that stuff. This is what it is, right? And I love this because it's showing you in real time that the numbers where it should be lower are lower, and where they're higher, they should be higher. And traditionally with Samsung TVs, in the smaller windows of peak brightness, you will always see explosive levels of brightness, and this is just more proof to that. So now let's go then to a 75% window of brightness where we expect the numbers to be around the 200s, but let's see. Okay, our peak for that, we were in 200, now we're at 271. So just like I said, we expect the numbers to fall in line with the 200 nit range, which again, me doing this for years, knowing OLED very well, that's exactly where it's sitting right now. And I expect it to drop and maintain about 260, 250, somewhere around there as a sustained nit range for a 75% window of peak brightness. And again, it's back up to 270, which I wasn't expecting, which is good. And it's actually holding this pretty well, this 269, 268, 270 range. I think, again, it's able to give you that awesome peak brightness. So again, the longer it sits on the screen, ABL is gonna kick in harder because it is gradual on this set. So you are gonna notice it starts falling off as we see here. But again, absolutely exceptional behavior coming out of the Samsung S95B. Okay then, so now let's try a 100% window. Let's see what we're sitting at. Now, I expect this to be around the 100 mark as we see here, but we're getting 200, which is great. I was expecting to go down to like 150. So the fact that we're still in the 230s, not bad at all. 232 was our peak. And we're going up and down, of course, on a variable level, but it's maintaining 231 pretty well. Now it's down to 230. So the 230s is essentially what you can expect because in most movies, it's not going to change that dramatically as far as the peak brightness. But can we just take a moment to appreciate the fact that this TV has touched grace? 1,500 nits? 1,500 nits, bro. Are you shitting me? Like on a 5% window of peak brightness. And so you see that I'm not doing anything at all to like bullshit you. We're gonna go to the peak brightness again. So we're gonna start over. This is that's the 1, that's the 2, and this is the 5% window. 14, bro. 1433. Just look at that. It's exactly where it was, and it's solid on that number. Anybody wants to try this, I'm using the Spears & Munsell UHD benchmarking disc. You can absolutely do this on your OLED, the Samsung S95B if you have the tools. I'm telling you, bro, it's crazy. 1429 is holding 1400 nits. An OLED holds 1400 nits. Now, I point this out because I heard some rumors. I haven't heard him say it. I don't know, but apparently Vincent was saying that this TV can barely even hold 1100 nits. My fucking ass, guy. This is real time. Where are your real time tests, man? I'm telling you right now, for anybody trying to shit on this TV because they either don't like that Samsung just beat LG OLED by a country mile or whatever their damage is, I can't help you, man, but this is the real deal. I mean, look at the slaughter fest happening right now. This is better than most LEDs on the market right now. And you're watching this hold the 1400 nit range and gradually fall off with a substantial time period. It's just sitting there. It's sitting right there on 1400 nits, just holding it, holding strong. And that is the most impressive thing I think I've ever seen out of an OLED ever. So now ABL is starting to kick in, and now we're dropping into the 1300s. Oh, boo-hoo, 1300. We still have LEDs that can't hit that, right? Okay, so you guys get the idea. This is an exceptionally bright TV.